Hello, I am petroonishchuk. Today is 7th video from a series of videos about SwiftUI and Firebase. In this video I resume work on my project to do app. In this video I don't make any changes in UI. In this video I want to change my MyAppViewModel. I want to add functionality for real-time update data. For example, after we update text or state point in the task in Firebase Firestore, we don't need to run methods like takeTaskList to take a new data from Firebase Firestore and display it in an application. Firebase himself takes new data and sends to our application. And then our new method takes this data and then displays it in the application. On the end of this video, we must have application with method for real-time update data in our application. This means when we delete data in one simulator, that means we must delete automatically data on the another simulator. How you can see, after we delete data on the one simulator, we delete data on the another simulator. And also, after we change state of our task, we also change in our task on the another simulator. And when we add a new task in our simulator and another simulator, data appear automatically. And now change data on the another simulator. After we change state of our task, we update this state in another simulator. This means our data update automatically. And also for the user. Thompson Jr. We update our second name of our user. And now change second name again. How you can see, we successfully update second name of our user, Thompson Jr. And also, we successfully updated our task in our application. This means method for real-time update data in our application work correctly. In this video, I add 3 new methods. First method, add state did change listener. I add this method to check when our user sign in or sign up or sign out in our application. With this method, we can check the state of authentication, if our user authenticated or not authenticated. And also, I will be adding another 2 methods. First method is for listening to changes in specific document in Firebase Firestore. And the second method is for listening to changes in specific collection in Firebase Firestore. Okay, let's start with our project. First, I want to make changes in my MyAppViewModel, and then I explain these changes. And now I want to explain what I'm changing. First, I want to explain 3 methods what I create in my MyAppViewModel. First method, run authentication state listener. For this method, we add listener to state of authentication. This means when we add listener to state of authentication, this method will be run each time when we sign in our application or when we sign out in our application. We check if we have a user. That means we sign in our application. We print this code. If we sign out from our application, we set our is running any task to true because we sign out from our application, and also we back to our root screen. Let's move to the next method. This is our second method, run real-time listener user data. With this method, we add listener to specific document. This means we will listen each changes of this specific document. We take our current user ID by using our authentication current user ID, create our document path, and then run our method for set our listener for specific document, add snapshot listener. And then when we set listener to our specific document and change this document in our Firebase Firestore, our snapshot listener will be run by take document from our Firebase Firestore, and then we can use this document would take this method from Firebase Firestore and run this code and assign this document to our application. This means after we set listener to our specific document, and then each time when we change our specific document, our snapshot listener method will be run. This method have escaping clauses, and then after this method take document from Firebase Firestore what we change, we can work with this document in this escaping clause. As you can see, we check our document, check error, and then we take data what we receive from Firebase Firestore and assign this data to our main user who hold our MyAppViewModel. Again, after we assign listener to our specific document and after we change our document, each time our listener will take this document from Firebase Firestore and put this document in escaping clauses what called snapshot listener method. And then we can work with this document but take data what we receive from Firebase Firestore and assign this data in our application. This is what was second method, run real-time listen user data. With this method we listen user data. First name, last name, and email. This is our third method. Third method, run real-time listen task list. This method similar like our previous method, when we listen changes in our user data. But in this method, we assign listener to collection of document. That means when we make change in collection of document, we'll be run this method. First, inside this method, we take our current user ID and create our document path. As you can see, on the end we have our collection to-do list. That means we'll assign listener to collection to-do list. And next we run snapshot listener to our document path, to our collection to-do list for specific user. This method have escaping clauses. That means after we assign listener and make some change in our to-do collection, this method will be run and take this collection from Firebase Firestore. And then we can work with data what this method take from Firebase Firestore. But we can also have an error. If we don't have an error, we check. Next, we move and work with our data, what we take from Firebase Firestore. By assigning this data, create a new task and assign this task to array of tasks what holds our MyAppViewModel. This method takes list of tasks from Firebase Firestore not only when we change our to-do list collection, but also when we first run our run real-time listen task list method. That means when we first time run this method and assign listener, this listener take to-do list from Firebase Firestore and then we assign this list in our application. That means when we run this method first time, we don't need run any method, we'll take list of tasks from Firebase Firestore. And also I make another change. First in our isUser site in, I commit take current user data and take task list. Because how I explained previously, when we run real-time listener user data and run real-time listener task list, we take data from our Firebase Firestore and then we assign the data in our application. That means for now we don't need run this test when we sign in our application. And also we run our method run authentication state listener for assign listener to state of authentication and listen if we sign in or sign out in our application. And also in sign out method I commit back to root screen because we run that method in our method when we listen our state of authentication. We have our sign out. When we sign out, we set our is run any task to true and also we back to root screen. That means in sign out method, we don't need run this method because when we sign out, we will be run this method. This is our old method for take current user data. But for now, we don't use this method because we use this method for real-time update data what we create in this video. Inside add new task method, I commit take task list because when we create a new task, I put this task to our Firebase Firestore. That means we put the task to our to-do list. But having said previously, we run our listener to our collection to-do list. That means when we change this collection, our real-time update method will be take this collection and display this collection in our application. That means for now we don't need run this method because we automatically update this data in our application. This is our old method take task list, but for now because we create method for real-time update data for our to-do list, we don't use this method. We also commit take current user data, because we also set listener to document for specific user. This means after we change data in our document for specific user, we don't need run our take current user data, because our method, what I create in this video for real-time update data, automatically takes this data from Firebase Firestore and displays this data in our application. Next, we have method for update email in Firebase authentication. And after we successfully update email in Firebase authentication, we run method for update our email in Firebase Firestore for specific user. And then, after we run our method update user email in Firebase database, we try to assign a new value for our email for specific user by using our current user ID. And on the end, we previously run take current user data. But for now, we don't run this method, because how I explained previously, method what I create on start of this video is takes this data automatically from Firebase Firestore and displays this data in our application. This means for now, we don't need to run this method. Next method, update task status. With this method, we update status of our task. This means our task is completed or not completed. This is the same. When we update status of our task, this means we update document in our to-do list. This means our method, what we assign, like listener, to our to-do list automatically takes this list of tasks and displays this data in our application. This means on the end, when we update data in our Firebase Firestore, we don't need to run this method take task list, because we take this data automatically. Update task test. This is the same like in previously method. We commit our take task list, because when we update text on our task, our method for real-time update data takes this data from our Firebase Firestore and displays this data automatically in our application. This means we don't need to run this method now. After delete user task, we don't change anything. But after we delete our task, our real-time update data test list of tasks and display this list of tasks in our application. And this is our three methods: for state authentication, for check if we change user data, and also if we change any data in our to-do collection list. And now, for show you how real-time update data work, I must run a tool simulator and show you how we can update data in our application. For example, and now after I run a simulator, I try to sign in our application. And now I sign in our application into simulator in iPhone 14 Pro Max and iPhone 14. And now I try to create a couple new tasks. And now you can see, after I create a couple tasks in one simulator, these tasks automatically appear on the another simulator. This means we automatically update data on the another simulator when we create tasks on the one simulator. And now try to change a state of our task. How you can see, automatically updated data on the one simulator and another simulator. And now try to delete our task. And now try to change our task. And also we can update our task, but how you can see, our field, you don't update task yet. This means we have some error in our application. This is our error. Last updated data created, but it must be last updated. And now I reload our application. And now, after I fix our error, our field displays correctly data. Now you can see, we have our field update data and data when we last update this task. And also our data updated automatically. That means our method for real-time update data works correctly. Let's move to our user. Let's try to update our user. After I type update user last name, we also update last name in our another simulator. And now update our user again. When I type update user, we also update user in our another simulator. And now try to update our email. Firebase asks to relogin in our application. After we relogin and try to update our data, we also update data in the another simulator. That means our method works correctly. And also, let's see our Firebase application. If we change our email in our Firebase application also. This is our Firebase application to do app01 authentication, and this is our email. How you can see, this is email the same like in our application. And now try to again change our email. We change email in this application, and also after reload our page, we change email in our Firebase authentication. This is the end of my seventh video from my series of videos about SwiftUI and Firebase, where I try to create to-do app. In this video, I add methods for real-time update data in our application. Next video, I try to create in short time. And in the next couple of videos, I want to add sign in with Apple, sign in with Google, and also another functionality to our application. This is the end. Thank you for watching.